Hi, Coach.
Gigi,
What's
hey,
up?
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited, and if you guys hear any like crazy sounds outside, it's I'm in New York, so I don't know. Sometimes there's like people yelling in the street and whatnot, but we're gonna
Cool.
try to stay focused.
No worries, no worries. Well, again, thank you so much. I was just kind of explaining why I wanted you on today, and the main reason is to inspire the next generation. And really, it's just kind of allowing people to go for it. That's kind of my message.
Yeah,
I want to give out. Hey, really, look, real quick, look at this.
I know. I saw that. I saw that before. Thanks for wearing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
I was going to like try and I had the idea of bringing one of my old warm ups, and but then obviously I forgot.
No worries.
So
I was like thinking back to when I coached you and when we were on that team, and that was 10 years ago now.
I
Crazy.
know it's so crazy. When you just said that, I was like, I can't believe that. Was it? Yeah, yeah, because I was
That's
a
about 10 years
junior,
ago. Yeah.
sophomore, junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like I said before to everybody, I'm just so proud of you, and like the way you
Thank
carry
you.
yourself and the way you handled your success, it's just awesome to see. So that's what the purpose of this is to try to share some of that success mindset and passion and inspiration for the next generation.
No,
And
I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate the players being interested. And I just think, obviously my career went in one direction, but it could have gone a lot of ways. And I think that volleyball and being part of a team and um, there are so many lessons that, not that you take for granted, because I didn't, but that certain things, until the moment you're like, wow, I just really am grateful for those experiences and opportunities that seemed very like specific in the
Mhm.
moment for what we were doing, but really like I mean, they're life lessons that are always valuable and um, are so helpful. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to
Yeah,
talk about
and it's crazy how quick it goes, right? And you don't think about it in the moment, right? And then like sometimes it takes a decade and you like look back and you're like, man, like that was just like a special experience with a special group of people. And sometimes when you're in it, like some of my players now, like it's just they go through the motions, and again, like that's what the purpose is for today's talk. And I just wanted to provide a platform that you could just speak directly to them.
it. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's gonna be good.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
All right,
Well,
let's do it.
yeah, let's jump in. So, G, what does living inspired mean to you?
For me, I feel like and I've said this before, people look at what I do or what they see publicly, which is 1% of my life and is snippets when, in terms of press and stuff like that. And I think they just assume that everything's always good all the time um, and that it's just easy to like be in this glamorous life or whatever. But like like everyone else, don't wake up feeling like Gigi Hadid every day, um, the Gigi Hadid that the world knows. And I think that what has helped me is taking each day to like really be tuned in with myself, and that the smallest like idea or inspiration or whatever like can change your whole day, whether that's like, okay, today I want to like watercolor, today I want to learn how to build a chair, today calling, sorry, someone called.
No worries.
um you can have the smallest thought idea and it can really get you out of a funk. So I feel like inspired living is really about being in touch with yourself and not taking any piece of joy as something that's too small. Like I think that no caller ID, rude. um that no piece of joy is too small, and it can really change your day, change your week, change your month, change your year. Like there's so many people even in COVID and in quarantine that really have felt like they're in a funk and have done something to kind of change their path in life or what they thought, and they've been unafraid to take that leap. And I know that in the moment it's scary, and anything that is worth it has a moment of discomfort, but then through that you can really like change the course of your mindset and everything. So I think inspired living is about listening to yourself and doing what feels right in the moment, and that can lead to more moments.
Yeah, no, I love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, you know, my podcast that I started in COVID in shutdown it's all about that. It's all about living an inspired life. And I was thinking of you, you know, because like there's no other person that comes to mind that's just like grabbed life, just went for it. Even when, and we'll talk about volleyball in a second, but
Yeah.
like, even when you were playing, like you were just like, I'm not tipping, coach, I'm hitting. Like I'm going.
I'm like, but why? If you can just smack it.
But I just feel like you do that with life. You just go for it. And you know, that whole question, living an inspired life, or what does inspired living mean? Like, I really want people to understand that. And I'm no master of this. I'm just curious about it, right? Because to me, I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just.
And I'm not a master of it either. Like, I think we all have to find our own way. And
right. That's right.
Yeah. But to pay attention to when you feel fulfilled and like when you feel like there's a spark in you is important. Yes,
exactly. And right now, like, I just feel like that might be kind of difficult for a lot of people, you know, especially with social media, you know, and I don't really want to get into all that because that's a different conversation, but, you know, just, I love what you said, just following something that gives you a pep in your step, you know?
Yeah. And that it doesn't need to be, nothing's too small, you know, like that's important.
And so like, how do you stay inspired on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, now I have a daughter, so it's just like she keeps me inspired just because I get to see her experience things. Kind of that same thing, like trying to do something every day that puts an extra pep, whether that's, you know, doing yoga or writing in my journal, or just not necessarily just being creative, but doing something that is a little bit different every day if you can.
Love that. So, and congratulations to the addition of your family too. So proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes. And can you talk about anyone specific, like who inspires you now?
It's hard. Like there's so many people, and I think that, and it's for different reasons, you know what I mean? It could, there's so many women to look up to, and not only that are famous or in the public eye, but just walking down the street in New York and seeing someone just like in the middle of COVID, just like killing their outfit, you know what I mean? Just like, and you're just like, you're clearly like probably not going anywhere, like you're just doing that for yourself, like you look awesome, and like people might think you look a bit crazy, but I love it. Like even just like people that I don't know inspire me on the street.
I love that.
I saw like a video of like a UPS worker just like having a little boogie to herself in the snow, and it's like little things like that. I think that every day we can find new people that inspire and encourage us to like bring something out in ourselves, or
100%. Could you speak on Serena Williams for a second? Because
I was gonna bring up Serena.
Because she inspires me just like for her incredible legendary career, but I know you guys are tight, so could you just speak on her for a second?
I mean, I'm like, you know, we're friends, but when I'm in the stands I'm just like an embarrassing fan. And I don't know, like, obviously I'm not comparing myself even in the slightest percentage to Serena Williams as an athlete, but I when I watch her play tennis, it's like that is when I most miss playing volleyball, because like I feel like that fire and just like seeing her, which is she's just like she's not a freak of nature, but like the most epic natural being that like could be on this planet, in my opinion. Like just watching her, like she's a machine, and just like the passion that is behind her when she's playing, but then also as a friend and as a person. And like when you go to karaoke with her, like she has that same fire, and I just think that that's so awesome, and she's so funny and just so herself. But also like after a loss, like she also like takes that to heart, and she still cares, and she's still, you know, there's not anything jaded about her. And I don't know, I feel that, like I'm sure that you remember like when I would make mistakes while playing, I was really hard on myself, and in certain ways that would hurt my game, and I think that's something that we worked on a lot, and that you would, you know, gee, like, no, we're not going there right now. Like I can just remember your face and just be like, shut up, coach, in my head. Not that I would ever say that to you, but just like, you know, that when you're nervous still, like you still care about what you're doing. And I think I love watching Serena for that sense. I can feel like, I don't know, that I would have hoped I had a little bit of that in me when I was a player.
Yeah, well, you did. I guess I brought her up because, and now we can get into volleyball stuff, but
Yeah,
I brought her up because both you guys remind me of that allowing yourself to go for it mentality.
right.
You know, like she just allowed herself to go for it for her dreams and passions. You're allowing yourself to go for it in your career. And I think that's a big topic for everybody, myself included. All of us, we need to allow ourselves kind of
Yeah.
get out of our own way, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, and like you know, I've always said I think that a lot of athletes in general are focused people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're naturally determined and whatever, but I think that if you get tunnel vision on one thing that you want to do, and you kind of don't allow yourself to be open and therefore like ready to other opportunities, then you can miss out in that sense, you know what I mean? And that's something that was really a blessing from that my mom gave me, was like, because she started modeling so young, and you know, like I wanted to work even in high school, and she was like, I had like one-off jobs in high school, but I wasn't fully signed or working full time. And she was like, you know, we're privileged that you don't have to be doing a job like that right now to support our family, and therefore she didn't want all my eggs in one basket of like, if my modeling career doesn't happen after high school, like I need to have other possibilities. And volleyball was a huge, you know, was a huge possibility that I could have, you know, gone and played in college. So was horseback riding, and I loved art. I could have gone to art school. I would have gone to cooking school, but I ended up studying criminal psychology.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And like, she was just like, I just had a mom that really never like said no, or like or made me feel weird about different interests that I had.
Right.
And that she was really set on, you know, you're not going to sign to an agency until you're done with high school. And I think that let me really be more focused on the things that I wanted to do otherwise. And that's how I could learn so much from volleyball and everything that I did, because I cared and I focused on it, and I wanted to be the best that I could be in whatever I did. I didn't want to half-assed. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Half-assed it.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Uh, so yeah,
I
and
love
I
that.
think yeah, and then you know whatever it was, taking an acting class here or there or whatever. So that I don't know if you remember this, but I'm going to tell this story. Sorry to cut
Yeah.
you off, and there's
No, go
more
for it.
questions, but so I wasn't working, like, and then one day I was driving home from school, and like this lady in a Mini Cooper was like flagging me down on PCH, and I was like, is she okay? Like, what's going on? And like, and she's like, pull over, and I was like, is something wrong with my car, whatever. So I like pulled into a grocery store parking lot, and I was like, is everything okay? And she's like, I go to the American Film Institute, and I'm doing my graduation film. I want you to audition. And I was like, what? And everyone should remember that like no one knew who I was in high school. Obviously, I wasn't working. I was just a normal high school kid, and like she just, I guess, saw me in the car and like knew that she wanted to cast me for her like graduation film. So I went and I auditioned for the movie, and this is in the middle of one of my seasons with Aaron. And I got the part. It was a short film. I think we filmed for 3 months, but um, it was something that, you know, I had never acted before, but I had to be open and confident and just kind of like take the leap. And there are, again, times that were awkward and times that were weird because I didn't know what I was doing, but you just have to learn as you go, be really aware of everything around you, take in not only being an actor, like even now with what I do, like I'm not just a model. Like I want to look at the lighting team and learn about what they're doing. I want to learn about the set design and props, and I learn something new from every part of that set all day. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the same with that. I just took it as I went and tried to take in as much information as I could and as I went. But I also respect you as a coach so much because even though you definitely didn't like just let me think that I could like whatever go film a movie for 3 months and like come in and out of practice whenever I wanted, like you were still like, no, you're a player here.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna, I don't care how long you're filming, if it starts at 3 a.m, like you're gonna come to practice, and if you miss this, you're not starting in the next game. And like, you know, things like that you have to learn, you know, how to work in complex situations like that, because that's life. And like, but I was ready when the opportunity came, and it was such a random opportunity, but like I was ready when it came. And then I like we figured out like how to go about it. And I think also as a coach to realize that your players, not everyone is just going to become a volleyball player in the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you were also like open to realizing that we're all going to like maybe go to different jobs and go and have different futures. And like, yeah, although the team was important to both of us, like you also gave me the opportunity to, because, you know, if you had said no, like, no, straight up, no, you're not like going to start, at that point, volleyball was more important to me. You know what I mean? And like, so, but it gave me a really good learning opportunity. And yeah, it made, I had to work harder because I, at that point, had to homeschool for 3 months or do independent study from school. And then I was still practicing, and yeah.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. And
Yeah, no worries.
I'm like going back through that time because I was a young coach at the time, and I was trying to figure out how to like, you know, get the best out of all you guys and make it a
Yeah.
fun experience, and also teach life lessons that you could take beyond the court, you know. So
Yeah.
it means a lot to me to hear that from you. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, let's jump into volleyball because that's why I wanted you on here. So thinking back to when you were playing competitive volleyball, not just at club, but at Pally too, at high school, what did you love most about it?
It's hard to put words to it because it's really like a feeling that I miss. And especially the years that I played for you, like I think those teams were really special. And I mean, I think everyone feels like their team is special, and
Sure.
you know, but I still really remember the girls that I played with. And it's something that like I hope the girls that are watching today, like I know that life feels like there's so much ahead of you and like you're really looking forward because a lot of the girls are going to start, you know, applying to schools or getting accepted or trying out or whatever, and it's like it just looks so far in advance, but like to really appreciate and like and not that I'm sure they are fully in it, but like take it in and like really appreciate it while you're in it, because it's not like, you know, obviously you think it's easy, like, oh, I can just go like hop into a beach game right now, or like, oh, I could go find like a volleyball club maybe for adults, but like it's not as easy as you think once you're out of that system or a place where you have an opportunity to do that. And even if you did, even if I were to go to the beach right now and join in a game, it's just not the same as when you know everyone on your team, you know about each other as players, you can start to build that chemistry and a trust and something behind just being on the court together, you know what I mean? And I
Yes.
think that that's really hard to come by again. There's almost nothing like it else in life, you know what I mean? You can do so many other things, but that's hard to replicate.
It is, and it's crazy like how you realize that after, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that's why I
Well, I
wanted
don't know. You just think like, oh, like I mean, even now, I think like I hope not that I'm gonna like push her, but like I'm definitely gonna like roll a volleyball like towards my daughter in the next couple of years and like hope she picks it up. But like I'm not forcing anything. But even that, I'm just like that will never be the same to me. Like, yeah, my daughter will be playing volleyball, but like I can't be on the team. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, just that's what I miss. I miss like it's hard to explain that feeling that you get to have when you're really like on a team, unless
yeah.
you're going to go to the Olympics or whatever, and that becomes your career. Then that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
No, I love that, G. That's great. And carry that a little bit more. Like, what lessons did you learn from your experience that carried over into your everyday life?
so many. I mean, which starts at like being on time and like
Right.
respecting the fact that even if your job seems like self-employed or singular, like we all work with or need other people, and it doesn't matter if you're the boss or if you're coworkers or on a equal level with other people that you work with in terms of the job title. No one is more important than someone else on that team, and like I always take that into consideration when I am working, because like, yeah, I'm the end product that people see, but my time isn't more valuable than the catering person or the person that cleans up the studio at the end of the day. And like my job wouldn't be possible without those people. So being on time and being nice and looking people in the eye and asking their name, and like those are things that I learned from being on a volleyball team, where
Right.
it's like, yeah, you might have the kill, but like that kill's not possible without every other part of what just happened on the court, whether that's an actual play or keeping your voice up if you're on the bench, you know what I mean? And I think just the repetitiveness of doing that,
Yeah.
and the importance that you put, and Coach Gray, and you guys were my the coaches that I worked with the most in my volleyball career.
Yeah. Shout out. Right.
Shout out Coach Gray. We just want to make you proud.
Yeah.
But yeah, you played for Coach Gray too, right?
I did back when I was growing up.
That's so
13,
crazy.
13 years old. Like, yeah, he's just a mentor, you know.
Yeah, no.
A
But I think you both, like, you weren't pushover coaches. Like I still respect the shit out of you guys. You know what I mean? I still call you coach. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? 10 years later, and it's like that is something that everyone can carry through their life. Like the people that are your mentors that help you through life are like, that's what life is. It's like,
Yeah.
that's what builds everything.
For
that you
sure.
learn from.
And would you agree with this one, G? Because I'm thinking like one of your biggest strengths back then, and I feel like it is today too, is that you can relate to others so well, and that you can meet them on their level first. You know, I just feel like that's a big skill set. Does that resonate with you?
Thank you. 100%. Like, I think, you know, when we are club players, you don't go to school with every girl that you play with that season. You don't know them. I mean, obviously some girls, but you don't know most of the girls through childhood. And it's like you're all kind of put together like a band, and it's like, okay, now go perform together. And you have to put value in each person. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you have to go into that situation like wanting to make the effort to connect with everyone on a certain level, because like that's just going to make the whole team better. And like I said, not just the technical parts, but there's so much to do with chemistry in a team building and emotional sense.
Right. It's very emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that social dynamic is huge, and it definitely carries forward into whatever career people choose, you know? So, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. What advice would you give to the next generation of players?
Like I said, appreciate it while you're in it.
Yeah.
And I guess I would say, like, whatever it is that you want to do should be kind of approached with the same mindset of professionalism. And my mom always said, if, you know, in my job, the looks are part of it, right? But she always said, if you're not the nicest, most hardworking girl in that room, the industry in the world is huge. Pretty doesn't really matter, right? Like, and I think that can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
That's with whatever career you're going into. Like, there's always like a baseline for whoever you're going to be interacting or even competing against for the same job. And so if you're not if you're not the nicest and most hardworking person in the room, there's going to be someone prettier, nicer, and more hardworking. So in other jobs, smarter, nicer, and more hardworking, stronger, nicer, and more hardworking, more like I just think that like talent and whatever that baseline is, like if you're hardworking and you're someone that's cool to be around, that sometimes can surpass your qualification of that job. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm not like I don't give my success to being prettier than anyone else in my industry. I give my success to the fact that on a lot of days, like I'm the person that's gonna go one more step beyond or be just like nicer to be around, and like that can make a small difference. And then like the industry will take you from there because people talk, people
Yeah.
are all friends, people, you know, will push for you if you made a small difference in their day. And I just think that like that goes for any industry that you're in or whatever is important in that industry. That you can't think that just because you're talented or smart doesn't mean that like you can be disrespectful and like people are just going to keep you around because you're good at what you do.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think that's a really good segue to mindset. I just have a few questions on mindset that I want you to kind of share your success mindset, which you're doing right now. So like, how did you create and maintain your mindset of success? Which kind of carries over to just what you just said, you know, just like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
attitude.
honestly, it's kind of that, and then it's go, it's building on that from there, which is like, you have to always be ready for the next thing. And I think that staying inspired and being inspired helps so much with that, because if you're always learning and you don't settle in terms of thinking that you know everything, there's nothing left to learn, then you can always build on what you already do, because you're adding more tools to your toolbox, you know what I mean? And then from there you can like do more things. At this point, like, I've pretty much almost done every job within modeling that would equal success, but it's like from there, now my success to me is related to what I feel fulfilled in and what is creative and what I can be part of the process with. And right now that takes me really being like, making a conscious effort to say like, what inspires me? What genuinely will people see in terms of creating a product or a series or any type of output to the world that seems genuine, because it's something that I have thought about and worked towards and learned about, that then will